Being healthy is not all about nutrition and it's not all about exercise. There's actually 4 things. We don't talk about 2 enough. Today we're going to talk about these 4 areas and how you can start dialing them in so you can just feel a little bit healthier within yourself. If you don't know me, I'm Well Hearing. I've been a nutritionist for the past 20 years, more recently diving into perimenopause, hormonal health, nutrition for females, because I see so many of my peers struggling and they don't know what to do because there's so much advice out there. So my aim for you is to make it simple, sometimes not easy, but it can be simple and sustainable, because we want to get into these life habits that we just do naturally and we don't have to struggle all the time to do it. So stick with me, follow, subscribe, and I will be teaching you how to make things simple, how to make your health sustainable. So the 4 areas, what are they? Before we dive in, I want you to think of the analogy of a table. The table has 4 legs, and to be in balance, we need all of those legs all propped up. However, we can have one of them slightly off kilter and it still doesn't topple that table over. But if we've got 2 out, then that table starts to topple over. And this is why I see the 4 areas of health, because quite honestly, we're not always going to have everything in balance. Balance means that we're going like this, it's in balance, not that we're actually in balance. There's a bit of back and forth. And in all honesty, life happens, right? There's so much stuff in terms of busyness and what we're going through, life, family issues, that can make things a little bit more difficult. So let's go through the 4 areas. Now, I talk about it in terms of the RISE framework. I use this with all my clients. So the first area which we look at is refueling smart. So refueling smart is about nutrition. It's about what you put in your mouth, your overall diet. And when I use the word diet, I'm not talking about you going on a diet. Your diet is just what you eat. So I don't like diets. I don't think you should go on something and then to come off it later on. Diet is just something you eat day in and day out. And we just got to try and make that as healthiest as we can be without putting stress on ourselves. So that's in terms of refueling smart. And if you're really struggling, if you're like, yeah, but I don't know how to do that, the first thing you need to do, and you've got to start here, is the awareness of what you're actually putting in your mouth. It is so easy just to grab things off the shelf, and I've done it myself, is that, yeah, it's a pretty package. Maybe it's got organic on it, or maybe it's got a pretty farmer on it that you're like, oh, this is great, this is natural. But then you start reading the ingredients list and you're like, oh, I didn't realize there was that much sugar in there, or there's a lot of added things which I can't even pronounce. So have a look on the back of your food labels, start understanding exactly what you're putting in your mouth and what you're eating. Is the first step. If you want to diving more into nutrition, there's principles that which I'll be going through. So make sure you subscribe on this. But if you're really, really struggling, then I would hire a coach, hire a nutritionist, hire someone who specializes in the area that you're struggling with. And then they can help you through, they can track your nutrition and provide you with the little tweaks that's going to help you as an individual. So Refuel Smart is the first in the RISE framework. The second I is intentional movement. So what I mean by intentional movement is that doing movement that nourishes you, doing movement that's going to help rise you up, doing movement that is good for your body. And sometimes it is doing a really hard session because we grow in times of stress. But sometimes it's a really like yin session and it's that relaxing, and it's it's understanding our bodies. What do we need? And so understanding in terms of what age you're at, how we're responding to exercise, what life situations are going on for us, and how we're recovering from that. So intentional movement is quite multifaceted. If you are really struggling with what movement is going to be right for you, this is where a really good coach comes in, because they can actually have a look at the data that you've got. A lot of people have wearables like Whoop or Garmin's or Fitbits or something. So having a look at the data of how you're responding to that exercise, and then making adjustments with nutrition, maybe with some of the movements that you're doing, to get the best out of it. I'm really about shortcuts. So I'm like, if you can go A to D, why would you go via B, C? So if we can shortcut to D, and by having intentional movements that is going to be the best for our bodies right now, that's what you want to get a hold of. And again, if you hire a coach, they can help look at your data. They can help make small tweaks for you so you can understand your body and how you respond. So we've done the R and the I in the RISE framework, which a lot of people know anyway. They've got to dial in nutrition, dial in the exercise when they want to be healthier. But the other 2, okay, let's go into the S. And the S is sleep or strategic recovery. A lot of people I see that they will just disregard sleep. Sleep is not an inactive state. It's an active state that's helping us recover. It's helping us just get the best out of life. When your sleep goes down, you often got less motivation to exercise. Your diet goes out the window because the hunger hormones go everywhere and you can't stop those cravings. Dialing in your sleep, you're actually helping the other legs of the stool by focusing on your sleep and making sure that you're getting that quality sleep. And I don't think of it in terms of when you wake up. Sleep is about when you go to bed and what you're doing before in that wind down period before you go to sleep. So if you're watching movies and then trying to flick off going to sleep, that may not work well for you. So you need to have that wind down to get good sleep, and then waking up early to go to the gym or whatever can be much easier. Work on the wind down period, work on how you're getting to sleep, and that's going to increase your sleep quality, which then you wake up way more refreshed. So sleep is part of the RISE framework. The last of the RISE framework, the E, is the empowered resilience. So I'm really keen on this one because it's about the mental, emotional reactions in life. So we can help our reactions in life depending what we've done. So stress toolkit is something that I think everybody should have, whether it's an acute, how to kind of calm your farm when you're really emotionally reactive or mentally reactive, those negative thoughts going around in your head, or whether it's the long-term strategy of, okay, I know I need to have some breathing techniques because that mellows me out and it enables me to keep a more regulated state, is instrumental. So going through the vagus nerve and the stress toolkit can be a really good thing to help you keep more balance. Quite often in life, though, there's things that happen, the stress happens, there's busyness in work, busyness with kids, a love member can get sick. Our stress, we can't control that stress in our lives. So by having a stress toolkit, that can help balance us out a little bit. However, sometimes it's like that wobbly table that is cut off a little bit. There's a lot of stuff going on. Those are the times that we really need to dial in our sleep, dial in our nutrition, dial in our exercise. So I see a lot of people when they're going through a really tough time, that's when they don't do any exercise, when they just eat whatever's on the go because they're hurried, and then they also don't have enough sleep. However, they end up burning themselves out. And this is when it can be a really hard thing to then pull ourselves out of. So I tend to think the opposite. Whenever I'm going through a really stressful time, I'm like, okay, how can I dial in my nutrition to make it easy that I can just pick something really healthy up on the go or have something pre-prepared? With my movement, never miss movement. Even if I'm really tired, I'll decide the night before whether I need to sleep in. But if I haven't decided that I need to sleep in the night before, it doesn't matter how tired I'm in the morning, I get up and I move. Even if it's just like stretching, I move because I know that's going to help my body. So making sure you're really intentional in your movement and you're not giving that a miss. And then sleep. I know I need to go to bed early if I'm really, really stressed out. That's just a non-negotiable for me, because that early sleep, getting enough quality sleep, is going to help with my stress resilience. It's going to help me with everything mentally and emotionally and how I respond in life. So dialing those other three in when you find yourself in a really stressful period will make your life so much better. So the RISE framework: refuel smart, intentional movement, sleep and strategic recovery, and empowered resilience. So health is not just about nutrition. It's not just about exercise. It's about getting those four in balance. So the more that you can do and find out about yourself and how you're reacting, that's going to be way better for yourself moving forward and going through those stressful times. So work on those four areas and really get to know how and what activities, nutrition really nourishes you as an individual. If you do that, you're going to start living the healthiest version of yourself in that moment in time. I hope that helped you today. If you want more tips, especially going through perimenopause, menopause, make sure you subscribe below, because I'm aimed to make nutrition, living healthier, simple and sustainable.